Welcome to the Sports Phenom Show, folks, where we're going to talk about Week 2 action in the MLS. I've got 3 top best bets for you here to take advantage of. All games going on March 1st and March 2nd. 2 to start things off here in Week 2 on Saturday, and then I'll finish it off for you with a final best bet on Sunday. Last week I gave you the MLS preview show. I went through every single team in the league, what I feel for that team, my predictions for that team, players they've added, things that happen over the off season, and just my overall gut on where I see this team for this season, where they're headed. And again, a final prediction for you. That's all in the video from last week, so take advantage if you haven't checked that out as of yet. I also made a prediction on who I think is going to win the whole thing and is a team that you want to be putting on most of your money and following this season. Again, all available for you in that MLS preview show. I did give you a best bet at the end of that recording on the MLS Supporter Shield winners, Inter Miami, who were looking to get off to a good start in their season opener against the New York City FC. Now, I did give you Miami to win that game. Unfortunately, early in that contest, 23rd minute, whistle-happy ref was absolutely terrible, by the way, in this game. Called an unbelievably bad red card. Furthermore, I cannot believe that the video replay booth did not at least tell the referee to go take a look at this call on video. In my opinion, I played semi-pro soccer. I have a pretty good idea of what a foul is and what a foul isn't. In this case, the defender clearly got all ball, and yet not only got a yellow, but he got a red. There was no warning. He didn't even have a previous yellow. Nothing to that point. And this ref, idiot, gave him a red card right off the bat. And again, no video replay calls, so I'm mind-boggled by that decision, to say the least. Miami, total control of that game at that point, up 1-0. And in the end, it's very hard to win a soccer game when you're down a man. Think of it, for those of you that don't follow soccer too much, think of it like an NHL game where you're on a penalty kill for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes for double penalties, double minors. You know how hard it is for that team on the penalty kill to keep goals from going in. And that's just for a small couple minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes in most cases. Well, imagine in soccer when you lose a player for the entire game. And that's why in a lot of the cases, where I should say most of the time, the team that ends up getting that red card doesn't end up winning the game unless they had a huge lead or the red card happened near the end of the game. In this case, early on, Miami only up 1-0. They did scrape a 2-2 tie in that game, but again, very hard to maintain any flow of the game and an opportunity to win. So that was my only pick last week. It's disappointing that it ended up the way it did and had to endure that ridiculous call. But when it's all said and done, we just got underway. First week, there wasn't much going on. Second week now, I stepped it up to 3 best bets. Eventually, I'd like to get you out about 5 a week. We'll see how things progress. But for now, let's start things off with the first game I like here on Saturday. That first matchup is going to be between Orlando City and Toronto FC. Both of these teams are going to be looking for their first win of the season. Orlando fell at home last week by a 4-2 count against Philadelphia, who in my previous show I talked about not having the best of seasons here this year, so I was a bit surprised by that. Well, actually, maybe even slightly more than just a bit surprised. I did not see Philadelphia walking into Orlando and scoring 4 goals, especially. So right off the bat, we know Orlando's D, not quite what we thought it was going to be, at least early on here in this first game. They did score 2 goals. Toronto, on the other hand, was able to muster up a 2-2 draw in D.C. D.C., also part of my preview last week, was a team that I said that I didn't expect much from here this season. So I'm not going to bank too much on that Toronto draw there. However, both of these teams obviously can score. They both got 2 goals, but they also have weak defenses as of right now. Letting in, as mentioned, Orlando let in 4, Toronto let in 2. Toronto looks to be looking to solidify that D with a pickup from Arsenal. 21-year-old kid they just picked up a couple weeks ago. He played, I think, the last 5 minutes of that first game. They've already got Long, an Irish international. They've also got Richie Larea, Canadian international, and Gomish, who's currently injured. He might be on the bench here for this one. I think if they get those 4 players in the defense together, you're going to see a bigger improvement on that D. But for now, your Arsenal player, forget his name, the 21-year-old that did play the last part of that game that they picked up on loan, still out of conditioning to play a full game. So you're looking at the same defense that Toronto had last week, playing again here in this game. Orlando doesn't look like it's going to have any changes in that defense either. So right off the bat, I like some goals in this game. That's not going to be my main pick, but I do think there should be a number of goals until we see anything change on both of these 2 defensive fronts. Up front, Toronto also might be with Lorenzo Insigne, who I hear is back with the team after an absence in the first game. There are rumors that he might be on the trading block, and he was a pass on the first game for Colin Fraser's Toronto FC. But he's back in the lineup in this one. They also have a pickup from Norway, Mr. Ola, back in the lineup here, or might be in the lineup for the first time this season. So that might be more offensive threat for Toronto FC, up with Bernadeschi and Theo on the left wing. Orlando, who were very impressive in the preseason, they tied Inter Miami in their last game 2-2. I just think they had a bad game, Orlando. I really do in that first game, even though the defense was terrible and they allowed a team that I don't expect to do too much this season get 4 goals on them. I do believe they're going to tighten up here today. I see a 2-1 type win for Orlando in this one. I like Orlando. It's going to be hard for Toronto traveling 2 weeks in a row to start the season on the road. Again, they were able to muster up a 2-2 draw against DC, but Orlando's a much better team than DC. So very hard press for Toronto here, I think, in this one to get another result. I like Orlando. The line sitting right around 150 right now. Lay the 150. Take Orlando. I can't see them starting off the season not getting a win in 2 home selections. So my first best bet for the MLS this weekend, Orlando City. Next game. I'm going to take a look at this New York Red Bull Nashville game. This game's going to be played at Red Bull Arena in New York. Red Bulls last week were beaten 1-0 by a very solid FC Cincinnati team. So good effort there by the Red Bulls, but disappointing that they at least didn't get a result. While Nashville, on the other hand, were able to muster up a 0-0 draw in New England. Both New England and Nashville probably going to be battling it out in the bottom of the standings once again here this year. So the fact that Nashville couldn't pull out the win against the last place team in the Eastern Conference last year just tells me that Nashville's in probably for a pretty long season here this year. Also, I made that comment in the preview show last week. These two teams don't score a lot of goals. Obviously, both were shut out and didn't get goals last week, so that's showing already again early in this season. But the Red Bulls, they were without a few key players last week that should be able to get back here in this one, especially Ronald Donkor. So I believe that this is going to be a game the Red Bulls should be able to pull off against a very weak Nashville squad. Nashville's lost a lot of players in the offseason, didn't bring in too much. Red Bulls don't want to go down 2 games without some points. I expect a big effort here. They play well at Red Bull Arena. Nashville, 2 straight games on the road, not an easy way to start the season. So even though defense is going to be first and foremost for both of these teams, it's the New York Red Bulls who I lean to pull out a close 1 or 2-0 victory in this game. Take the Red Bulls. They're around that same line that Orlando was, around laying 150. That's my second of 3 MLS best bets. All right, now to my final best bet for week 2 in MLS action. Earlier, to start this recording, I talked about my pick last week on Inter Miami and the fiasco that led to that red card early in the first half. Having a 1-0 lead at that point, ended up having to deal with the 2-2 draw that didn't allow us to cash. Well, I'm right back on Inter Miami again here this weekend as they play in Houston. Houston versus Inter Miami. The play in this game is going to be at BBVA Compass Stadium. And this one, by the way, also on Sunday. What I believe here, folks, is that Inter Miami is going to be hyped up and ready to roll once again. Now, of course, they're much better at home than they were on the road last year. They lost a lot of points going away. But this is a new season. They got all their players together from the start of the year, along with their new head coach. And I just, as I mentioned in the previous show, see them being the team to be betting on almost every single week, folks, especially now with what happened in that first game and that red card cost them the win. They only ended up getting the draw, so they already lost a point there. So you got to expect them to come back here in this one, be pissed off about that, and get a possible victory. The good thing is here, with the line the way it is right now, you can bet +0.5 at a very decent line, and a draw will get us the win. So how can you not take advantage of that type of line? This play is my favorite of the 3 on Inter Miami. Again, I expect a big performance from Inter Miami in this one. Great weather in Houston, so that's also a good thing. Last week, Houston weren't impressive at all as they lost to FC Dallas 2-1. So I don't expect much from Houston here early on in the season. This is going to be a tough game for them. Look for Messi and the boys, Busquets, Alba, Suarez, to take control of this game early and often. I expect nothing less than at least a minimum draw once again here for Inter Miami. Again, that's a win, but I would not be surprised if they won this game outright, feel free to sprinkle a little on the outright win, and you're getting, I think at the time of this recording, around plus 150. They were plus 165, I think, when the line opened, so we're getting some money on Inter Miami. I think the line should be much closer to the pick, to be honest with you. But hey, great for us so that we can bet the plus a half, which I believe right now is paying, or the line is only laying 140. That's an absolute steal, folks. That's my big play. That's the one I'm putting the big money on this weekend. Inter Miami plus a half. That's going to finalize things here for my 3 top best bets for the MLS in week 2. All right, folks, so there you have it. Those are my 3 top best bets for week 2 MLS action. I'm going to repeat them for you again one more time. First selection was Orlando City. Second selection on the New York Red Bulls. And my third and final and favorite of the 3 best bets for this weekend, Inter Miami. That's the moneymaker. Make sure you take them plus a half. They draw or win, we cash. I am the Phenom, folks. It's going to be an exciting season of MLS plays right here on YouTube. Take advantage. Follow me all season long. I'm going to make you some big money. See ya.